In this video, I'm going to react to the top 10 states Californians are moving to. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now, this is probably going to be one of the most interesting and contentious subjects that I'm going to react to, just because it seems that there's something going on in California. Like, for a while, there was quite a few YouTube videos in my recommended section of big time YouTubers and celebrities leaving California. I think Joe Rogan is another one who left California. And from the little that I know of what's going on there, I believe there's a huge, enormous homeless problem there, where, you know, there's huge towns full of homeless people, and it's just a really sad situation. Another thing that I know is that I believe the taxes that people are paying in California are extremely high. Also, the cost of living is also extremely high. So I imagine, you know, those are probably three quite large contributing factors to the exodus that's taking place in California. But obviously there are probably huge pluses of living in California. You know, I believe the weather obviously is a huge plus. You know, the relaxed, almost like nice, quaint lifestyle. You know, you're surrounded by beaches and things like that. So yeah, there's probably pluses and minuses of living in California. So this is going to be quite informative, just because it's going to show me, you know, what is the driving force behind, you know, a lot of these people departing from California, and where are these people going to? You know, what states are seeing huge influxes of people from, you know, the Sunshine State? Is California the Sunshine State, or is Florida the Sunshine State? I'm not sure. But let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the top 10 states people are moving to from California. Let's do it.
What is going on, everyone? Let's talk about the Golden State, California. Not so much the state of California, more like the people of California. Like rats on a burning ship, they're leaving. And they might...
Oh gosh. That was harsh.
be heading to your hometown. And that's what today's video is all about. Places Californians are moving to, now that the Golden State has become undoable for most people. Now, this was once unthinkable. The whole leaving California was just nothing native residents would ever think of. Most of the state has great weather, amazing beaches, tons of opportunity, and never-ending entertainment. Prior to the 1990s, it seemed like everyone wanted to go to the Golden State. I grew up in a beach town just south of Los Angeles, and it seemed like every single new girl I came across from out of state moved to California to be a model, an actress, something, you know. They were gonna do something like that, and, you know, Hollywood is right there, and the streets are paved with gold. After being here a year or two, they realized that it was all an illusion, and they went home. Sometime around the early 1990s, California natives started getting the same feeling. The California dream wasn't real. It was an illusion. Wow. These days, people are leaving the Golden State for a million different reasons. The more popular reasons are high taxes, housing costs, traffic, overcrowded, and fear of another Kardashian spinoff. And before you do, stop typing. Nobody wants to hear about how the liberals are chasing people out and the state was great and the liberals killed it. It's not what this is all about. So why don't we take a look at the top 10 states Californians are moving to. Number 10, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. I said it, Georgia. Sure, why not? They don't have terrible weather by most people's standards. They do by my standards. I don't like that heat and humidity, but a lot of people like it. They have jobs, and if you work in the film or music industry, they have jobs in both of those. They also have beaches and peaches, both of which are some of the best in the country. And if you're a Southern Californian looking to move to the Peach State and you can't stand the thought about being away from the beach, take a look at Savannah. It has some of the most amazing shoreline this country has to offer. And if you are a Georgian, person from Georgia, a resident, and you're not happy with about 12,000 Californians moving to your state last year, keep in mind, it's your fault. If you don't want people moving to your state, don't steal their film industry, don't be so damn nice, and don't have such good fried chicken. Oh my god, I gain like 10 pounds every time I visit. And I am not a small mammal already. Number 9, Oklahoma. Yeah, now, I'm not too sure about this one, but according to the United Van Line study, Oklahoma has been the favorite destination for people running away from high housing costs and fun, I imagine, for about 5 years now. Oklahoma has some very low home prices. Oklahoma City and Tulsa are doing really good in jobs, and the state's unemployment rate is a little bit under the national average as of September 2018. And before you do, just don't. Yes, Oklahoma City and Tulsa have some crime. All big cities do. Yours isn't that bad, and those are about the only place in the entire state that has any measurable amount of crime. And if you're sitting there getting ready to tell us how there's been a crime wave in Big Cabin, Oklahoma, stop typing. You have around 40 people living in the entire town, so technically someone running a red light would qualify as a crime wave. And luckily, you don't have a red light to run. Problem solved. Anyway, you can get a job, a cheap house, and some country music in Oklahoma. When it comes to the most popular tunes in the Sooner State, most people are bumping country music really loud. So if you got a problem with that, maybe you should look elsewhere. Oklahoma has a deep history as being part of the Wild West, so it's easy to see why they listen to country music. It's kind of been there forever.
Interesting.
Number 8, Idaho. This is easily the state that complains the most about Californians, at least in the comment section of my videos.
So there seems to be a theme, like I believe Oklahoma, Georgia, and Idaho are all in the central. Is it central the United States? So in the middle of the country or the south? Yeah, I think they all have. I believe they're close by. That's the point I'm trying to make.
You always get a steady dose of conservative paranoia when you're dealing with Idaho. You know they're from Idaho in the comment section when you see words like California, liberal hellhole, and libertard. Those are like a serious indicator that comment came from Idaho. Now here's why people are moving to Idaho: jobs, low housing costs, low crime, and amazing scenery. My best friend just moved to Moscow, Idaho, and he loves it. Other than the a-holes in the comment section of my videos, Idaho is a great place to live.
This guy really has a bone to pick with a lot of his viewership. Almost feels like he doesn't like him.
I've often considered it, but it's just not as green as Portland. I mean, I've considered Pennsylvania too because it's very green, just the way I like it. But anyway, Idaho's a great place to live, and it's no wonder Californians are heading there, even if the residents don't like it too much. Number 7, Utah. Why would California...
Wow, look at that. Look at the color of the... Is that bedrock? Like, just look at that red hue. Looks like you're on Mars almost, literally, like you're on the Martian, surface.
Californians want to move to Utah. I mean, they're polar opposites. One state's controlled, for the most part, by a church, and the other is controlled by hedonism and excess. So why would you move there? Love it or hate it, you can't go wrong raising a family in Utah. They're ranked 3rd in schools, and when it comes to fiscal stability, they're ranked number 1. Now, that's according to U.S. News. Just stay away from the Great Salt Lake. The thing smells like battery acid. For a long time during the 90s, this was a favorite place, I read an article about this, for retired adult film actors and actresses to retire to. And that's because they have a ban on any form of pornography in Utah. So
I see, so basically nobody would recognize you.
So the chances of someone there seeing you back then were limited. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people might, but they were limited. But I also read another stat recently that when it comes to logins to different adult sites, Utah leads the country. So much for that ban, huh?
Oh, wow.
Number 6, Colorado. Colorado.
Wow, look at that. Is that Pikes Peak? I feel like every mountain that I see in Colorado, I just think is Pikes Peak because of my reaction to the Pikes Peak hill climb. It's probably not Pikes Peak.
It has been a migration hotspot since the 1970s, and it's no wonder. Wide open spaces, natural beauty, fresh air, and the Denver Broncos. Colorado has one of the best economies and gets really high marks in healthcare. The cost of living, at least outside of the Denver area, is pretty much dirt cheap in most places. Nice. Sure, they have a handful of locations you shouldn't consider if you make under $500,000 a year or have an incredibly lucrative trust fund. But those are normally mountain resort types. It's not something you really have to worry about. But if you're sick of LA's air quality, this may be your place. And yes, I know Denver area gets some...
Look how beautiful this is. This is unbelievable. Imagine you're just, in a little, canoe boat, just looking at that view. Oh, wow.
Bad air quality days. The worst day of air quality in Denver is still better than the best day in Los Angeles. This is another place we get a lot of comments, and the comments are always all the same thing. We're full, don't move here. I'm sure when they're typing that, they think they're so clever. You're not. It's been said about 100 times on each video about every location we've ever done, except for Detroit. The most common comment from Detroit is, help me. Number 5, Washington. Washington State has been drawing people in for some time. Now, it has slowed down in the last few years, but it still gets a crap ton of people moving in each year. And yes, a majority of those people are from California. In the early 90s, you had an explosion in the under 30 population. For the most part, it was due to the music coming out of Seattle at the time. The tech industry started booming after that, and about 2002, I'd say, Seattle has started seeing the same signs that are chasing people out of California. Housing prices have skyrocketed, traffic is insane, and the air quality is creeping up. Don't get me wrong, they've got a long way to go before they get as bad as LA or let's say the Bay Area, but it's heading there. Those factors have slowed down the migration from other states, but not California. So if I were you, Seattle, and you don't want more Californians moving there, I would really start talking up how bad the rain is. That'll slow it down. Number 4, Oregon. Oregon has been overrun by Californians for the better part of 2 decades now. Like Seattle, it's slowed down in the last few years, but from 2010 to 2016, Oregon was the most moved to state in the country, with Washington right behind it. Really, when it comes to people moving to Oregon,
This man right here is exceptionally brave. The way he's just walking so casually up this mountain path, like I would be pooing my pants. I'm not one for heights.
9% are moving to Portland and the surrounding area. You know, you might want to factor in Bend there too. Bend gets a good influx of Californians, but those are about the only locations that you'll get any, measurable amount of Californians moving into. I'm one of them. I left Southern California back in 2010, and I've never looked back. The only place I've ever seen people be negative towards transplants is online. Nobody has ever been negative to me personally for invading this wonderful town of Portland, Oregon. And even if they were, f them. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'll move wherever the hell I want. If you don't like it, you can go to California. Number 3, Nevada. Nevada's where you go if you can't afford California rent anymore or you're a construction worker. Those are the 2 most popular reasons to move to this desert oasis. I have a handful of friends that have moved here over the years, most of them being from the Southern California area. It's just kind of what you do when you can't take Los Angeles for another minute. When the economy was bad, Vegas really didn't feel the effects as bad as other places. Now, they did have a ton of foreclosures when their housing payments blew up, but they still had jobs. So in came the Californians to swoop up the foreclosed homes and start a new life. Now, like a lot of places, they've slowed down a bit on the migration, but they still have a steady stream of people coming into Vegas, Nevada in general. And now you have a major California transplant population in the Las Vegas, Henderson area. Number 2, Arizona. If you're retired and you hate the bugs and humidity of Florida, your next option is Arizona. This is a great state and the people really don't seem to mind too much of your transplant. A large majority of the people...
It looks really like flat. Is Arizona quite a flat area? Oh, but then you've got the mountains right there in the background.
Who did and are still moving.
I believe Arizona's really hot as well. I've heard that it's like an average day would be like mid-30s Celsius. Let me know if that's
Arizona are the retired crowd. Arizona doesn't rank terrible in any category. They're all right in the middle on almost every category that you would judge a state by. So it's a good balance. Older Californians have been heading to Arizona ever since things started getting really expensive in California. As you can imagine, if you're on a fixed income, expensive really isn't an option. And to the state of Arizona, if you have a problem with too many older people moving there, legalize recreational weed. That for some reason is a big deterrent for most older people. Really, I'm not even kidding, I read that. They just still seem to think that if you smoke weed, you're just some kind of drug addict that roams the streets and does weird crap. Like my grandmother. She always said, Charlie Sheen, you can't trust him because he's on the weed.
He's on the weed.
And number 1, Texas. They say everything is big in Texas, and that includes the ever-growing California transplant population. It's getting bigger every single year. Look at this chart of net migration between California and other states. Texas almost doubles the next 3 states individually, and pretty much blows the rest away. You might ask, why is this? Why is Texas getting so many Californians? Well, there's a few reasons. Probably the biggest one is jobs. Not just that they have jobs, they do. but they also encourage big companies from other states to come to Texas. Those companies tend to bring some of their employees with them from whatever state they were in before. They've attracted a lot of Californian companies, and it wasn't hard to do. California, having such high taxes, kind of drives business out sometimes. As an example, from where I grew up in the South Bay of Southern California, they persuaded Toyota to move their North American headquarters to Plano, Texas. With them, They took about 5,000 people in the beginning.
That's a big coup.
And I know others have moved since, but the original burst of people was about 5,000 people to the Dallas area. That's a lot of people. Texas has a lot of other things that, they have great weather, all kinds of good things, tax friendly. Texas offers a lot to other companies and people to move there. So yeah, and that's why they're
and brisket. Texan barbecue looks absolutely amazing.
Blowing everyone away. All right, so that's my top 10 states Californians are moving to. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got some information.
That was really, really interesting. It definitely seems like California is seeing a mass exodus that there's probably, unless there's a real big change in policy, it's going to be hard to stem that flow. I think, with especially situations like the pandemic which several businesses, well, pretty much all businesses have been impacted, especially in the food service industry. If you're still charging these businesses, high tax rates, it's not really going to be a sustainable situation for a lot of these companies. So if they move to another state, they're going to take their tax revenue as well. So it's really fascinating. I would love anybody who is currently living in California or has recently left California, please comment in the comment section, as to why you left, what was your reasoning behind leaving. I'd really love to know, because it's definitely of interest to me. So yeah, please share your comments. I'll definitely read them, and I always comment back anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.